Morning. Welcome to Nancy's Corner for November. We have some Thanksgiving books to talk about today, and we also have some other books that I hope you'll be interested in. The first two adult books that I'm going to talk about, I really hope I can do them justice because they are very, very good, very involved, and you really just have to read them. The first one is The Riviera House by Natasha Lester. This is the audiobook, and the main character in here is a French woman named Eliane, who has a really happy life. She has a fiance, she has her art, she works at the Louvre, she's going to art classes. Nice life until the Nazis invade Paris. And her fiance leaves to get his father out of the country, and he doesn't come back for a while, and when he does, he is working with the Germans. So she is heartbroken. Her job at the Louvre has turned into something completely different. She has been asked to help catalog stolen paintings from the Germans and all the rich people, not the Germans, the Jews and the rich people that the Germans are stealing all of their artwork and dividing it between Hitler and Göring. So she finds out her brother and her boss from the Louvre and the lady she's been working with are all working with the French resistance, trying to catalog these paintings so they won't be lost forever. So she helps with that. And she really thinks she's doing well. She's not happy at what she's doing because she has to work very closely with the Germans and trying to avoid the advances of one of them that has fallen in love with her. She is wondering whether or not her former fiance is really working with them. What side is he really on? I'm not going to tell you that yet. Fast forward to present day. The main character in that part is named Remy. She lives in Australia. She has been adopted, and her adoptive parents sent her with a painting and a house on the Riviera. So they are definitely from Europe. As she's in France, she meets another American family, and they're kind of vacationing together, and she's a fashion designer, and she's doing a photo shoot with one of them who is a professional photographer. And he buys a box of books from a bookstore, just didn't even look through it, just said, I need something to read, and buys a box of books. In that box is a catalog of stolen German paintings. One of the paintings has been on her bedroom wall her entire life. When she was adopted with this painting and also with the deed to the house on the Riviera. She is completely shocked. She knew she was adopted, but she had no idea about her birth family, and she is trying to find out about it. So who are her parents and grandparents? Is it a German? Is it Eliane? I'm not going to tell you, but it is very, very good. Now, this next one is State of Terror by Hillary Rodham Clinton and Louise Penny. And if you've listened to me, you know if Louise Penny writes it, I'm going to read it. So this is no different. It's different from her Three Pines books, even though towards the end of the book we do get to visit Three Pines. It is a political thriller. The main character is named Ellen. She is the new Secretary of State in the new administration who has to clean up the mistakes of the incompetent previous administration. One of the things they're trying to clean up is there was this really awful terrorist who was under house arrest, and the previous incompetent president released him. So the book starts out where there are 3 bombs planted on buses in Paris, in London, and in Berlin. They all go off. Hundreds of people are killed. There was a nuclear physicist on each bus who they believe were instrumental in making nuclear weapons. The person behind all this is the terrorist that was just released, who has a personal connection with the Secretary of State, because before she was Secretary of State, she ran a publishing empire which was instrumental in reporting on him and having him arrested. So you have to find out where this man is, if they really are making nuclear weapons. There are 3 bombs hidden in the United States. One of them they believe is in the White House. They're not sure. They're not sure of the other 2 cities. So they have to find those bombs. It's pointing to people who you think are bad. They might not be. It's pointing to some other people that you think are good. They might not be. I don't want to give too much away. I could talk for hours about this book. It is so good. All I want to say is please read it. If you like intrigue, if you like mystery, if you like books that you don't know where it's going, this is the one for you. The next one is Knit of the Living Dead. It is by Peggy Earhart. It is part of the Knit and Nibble mystery series. It starts off on Halloween, where they're having a small town party and festival and parade, and one lady is dressed like Little Bo Peep. Well, she was supposed to go with her husband, but they had an argument and he decided not to go. So one of her friends goes with her, and Little Bo Peep is killed. The friend was wearing the costume, so you don't know if they were after her or if they were after the original lady. And of course, she was hit over the head and she had some yarn tied around her neck, which is how the Knit and Nibble Knitting Club get involved. So, a few days later, so most of this book, even though it starts out on Halloween, it's not really a Halloween story because the rest of it takes place in November, which is the beginning of this month also. The lady who was supposed to be dressed as Little Bo Peep is found dead in her yard, hit over the head with yarn around her neck. So the Knit and Nibble Club, even though they say they're not going to get involved, of course they do. And that's all I'm going to tell you. Now, we do have a knitting club here at the library, but we don't solve murders. All we do is knit. So our club might not be as exciting, but you're welcome to come visit us first and third Monday of every month. The next 2 books are about Thanksgiving. The first one is just called Thanksgiving, An American Holiday and American History by Diana Carter Applebaum. And this is stories and essays all about the history of Thanksgiving. So if you would want to know a little more about the history, it's not a brand new book, but I'm sure it's still going to be very interesting. I urge you to check this one out. The other Thanksgiving book is called The Many Blessings Cookbook. It's by Jane Watson Hopping. And in this book, you'll find a lot of good recipes. You'll also find some stories and some poems and some real photographs of people from earlier American history. You'll find some paintings. Very, very interesting to match up the people and the paintings from that time with the recipes. So I'm sure you can find something new for your Thanksgiving dinner if you check this out. Now for the children's books, my favorites. The first one is not Thanksgiving. It is called All Merry by Gwynedd Ray. This book was recommended to us by a pen pal from our bears, Benny and Daisy. And one of their pen pals named Hornbeam told us about these Mary Plain books. That's the name of the little bear, is Mary Plain. She lives in Switzerland. She's a bear cub, barely a year old. She does speak, she does write, and these books, we have about 3 of them. They are delightful. Mary Plain is so innocent and so adorable. She's mischievous. She's probably about the same mentality as a 3 or 4-year-old. But every day is new. It's all about her. She loves adventures. She travels with who she calls the Owl Man because he wears glasses. He takes her to instead of a visit, she puts the S in front, so it's a visit, to London from Switzerland to be in an animal competition, which of course she wins first prize because she is so adorable. She goes on a plane and a train and a boat, and she just has one adventure after another. This would be a perfect book to read 1 or 2 chapters as bedtime stories because children will love it. They will see themselves in Mary Plain. I love Mary Plain. Now we have it is Thanksgiving. I'm sorry. This is A Silly Millie Fall, which is written by Sherry Wall. Silly Millie is a Great Dane, and this covers fall, Halloween, and Thanksgiving, and she does everything willy-nilly, so Millie is very silly. It is adorable. You will smile at everything Silly Millie does. We also have Silly Millie Christmas. If you like her, you have some other books to check out. The next one is The Purple Turkey and Other Thanksgiving Riddles by David A. Adler. It's all Thanksgiving riddles and jokes. Children are going to love this because every child loves jokes. My favorite joke of all time that I heard in maybe 3rd grade is also in this book. And it goes like this. I even marked it. If April showers bring May flowers, what do May flowers bring? Pilgrims. Those are the kind of jokes that are in here. They are delightful. So if your child wants a good laugh, The Purple Turkey is for you. The next one is A Feast for a Mouse by Judy Cox. This is a little mouse who is looking for Thanksgiving dinner, and he finds an olive. And one is a feast for a mouse because he's so little. But he finds a lot of other things, and he's trying to get it all back to his mouse hole and avoid the cat, who is watching him very carefully. And of course he drops everything, and he ends up with his one little olive, which is his feast anyway. Very cute story. This is one of my favorites. It's called Thanksgiving at the Tabletons by Eileen Spinelli. The Tableton family is meeting for Thanksgiving dinner, and absolutely everything goes wrong. The turkey is frozen, Mama drops it, slides out the door and into the pond. Daddy goes to get apple pies and other kind of pies for dessert. The line's too long at the bakery, so he goes to have a cup of coffee. By the time he's finished, pies are gone. The kids are putting the mashed potatoes in the blender. They forget to put the top on the blender, so you know where the mashed potatoes go. Grandma and Grandpa come along. Grandpa says he's hungry as an elephant. Every time something else goes wrong, he's hungry as 2 elephants, and then 3 elephants. They finally end up with no food, sandwiches, but they're all together, and that is the most important thing about Thanksgiving, is that your family is all together and you're grateful for any food that you have. So those are our Thanksgiving and other books for November. I really hope you find something you like. We have a lot of other Thanksgiving books, especially in the children's room, that you are welcome to come browse through and check out. I have some little Thanksgiving magnets. Those are going to be our crafts that children can come in on Tuesday afternoons to do. One more thing, my little turkey friend is going to wave goodbye. So I hope you have a wonderful, happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next time.